Japan is on high alert as the nation faces an unprecedented threat, a megaquake warning that could signal the approach of a catastrophic earthquake. With the memory of past disasters still fresh and the ever-present danger of the volatile Ring of Fire, this advisory has sent shock waves of fear and uncertainty throughout the country. Could Japan be on the brink of another seismic catastrophe, or this is a wake-up call to the ever-present risks that lie beneath its surface? Japan has issued its first ever mega quake advisory, a move that has sent shock waves through the nation and heightened public anxiety. This unprecedented warning follows a powerful 7.1 magnitude earthquake that struck off the southern coast near Miyazaki Prefecture on Kyushu Island. The quake, which occurred at 4:42 p.m. local time on Thursday at a depth of about 18 miles, triggered a tsunami advisory, although no significant damage or widespread injuries were reported. According to Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi, 3 people were injured, but there were no blackouts or disruptions to water or communication systems. Authorities in Miyazaki Prefecture received about 10 reports of damage, including landslides and malfunctioning traffic lights. Japan's decision to issue the megaquake advisory is rooted in the country's precarious position on the Ring of Fire, a volatile seismic zone that circles the Pacific Ocean. This region is notorious for its frequent and often devastating earthquakes, and Japan, in particular, sits atop of one of the most dangerous sections of the zone, the Nankai Trough. This major fault line runs along Japan's southern coast, stretching from Shizuoka west of Tokyo to the southern tip of Kyushu. Historically, the Nankai Trough has been the source of massive earthquakes that strike every 100 to 200 years, often with catastrophic consequences. Megaquakes in the Nankai Trough are not just ordinary seismic events. These quakes, capable of reaching magnitudes of 8 or 9, have the powers to trigger enormous tsunamis and could wreak havoc on coastal communities. Experts warn that in a worst-case scenario, such a disaster could result in up to 300,000 casualties and cause infrastructure losses totaling a staggering $13 trillion. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who is currently grappling with a low approval ratings and facing a leadership challenge within his party, has cancelled a planned visit to Central Asia in response to the heightened seismic threat. Kishida was scheduled to meet with leaders from Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan in Astana on Friday evening and with the Mongolian President Ulaanbaatar on Monday. In a press conference, Kishida addressed the nation, urging people to stay informed, review their earthquake preparedness plans, and be ready to evacuate if necessary. He emphasized the importance of vigilance, particularly in regions along the Pacific coast that are most vulnerable to the effects of a megaquake. The advisory issued by the Japan Meteorological Agency underscores the seriousness of the situation, warning that if a major earthquake, seismologists have convened an emergency meeting to assess the recent earthquake's impact, particularly its potential effect on Nankai Trough. The trough, which lies along the boundary between two tectonic plates in the Pacific Ocean, has been the site of several historical destructive earthquakes. These so-called megathrust quakes often occurs in pairs, meaning that one large earthquake can trigger another, compounding the devastation. The 7.1 magnitude earthquake has raised concerns that it could be a precursor or foreshock to a larger event, though the probability remains low. Despite the alarming nature of the advisory, experts caution against panic. Earthquake prediction remains an exact science filled with uncertainties. While scientists can assess probabilities using historical data, geological observations, and advanced modeling techniques, predicting the exact timing and magnitude of earthquakes is still beyond the reach of current technology. Geologists Kyle Bradley and Judith A. Hubbard, writing in their Earthquake Insights newsletter, acknowledged that convincingly scary history of great earthquakes at Nankai, but emphasized that there's a small probability that Thursday's quake was a foreshock to a larger event. Japan is no stranger to seismic activity, experiencing around 1,500 earthquakes annually. Most of these are minor, causing little to no damage. However, the specter of a megaquake presents a far more significant and alarming challenge, one that has the potential to reshape the nation's landscape and test its resilience. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, which resulted in over 18,000 deaths and triggered the Fukushima nuclear disaster, serve as a stark reminder of the destructive power of Japan's seismic environment. As Japan braces for the possibility of another catastrophic event, the government's focus remains on preparedness and resilience. Prime Minister Kishida's decision to cancel his international trip underscores the gravity of the situation as he prioritized the safety and security of the Japanese people. The coming days and weeks will be crucial as the nation watches and waits, hoping that the latest seismic activity will not escalate into a full-blown disaster. As Japan braces for what could be a seismic catastrophe, the question remains, is this the final warning before a disaster strikes, or just another reminder of the unpredictable forces lurking beneath?